Yo, what's up traders? Welcome to a new video. In this video, I'll be showing you a free indicator that shows you when to buy the dip. Let's start right away. Okay, first of all, as you can see, the price of Nasdaq really went downwards, made a huge dip, and around the 26th, 27th of January, we see that the price slowly began to move to the upside, which means that it was a great time to buy. Let me show you the charts. Alright, so now we are looking at the chart, the Nasdaq, and as you can see, about the 26th to 27th, we see that the price reversed and now we see more upwards momentum. So as you can see, I'm looking at the daily time frame right now, and I'm also using a free indicator which is called OGT Gemma indicator, and this indicator is developed by a YouTuber that kind of inspired me in multiple ways. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a free one. And let me tell you how the indicator works. Over here we see green clouds and we see light green, we see yellow clouds. It's hard to see, but this is red. Over here we also see this is kind of pink, and again red and blue. So what does this mean? This indicator basically shows what the long-term trend is and what the short-term trend is based on multiple moving averages. So the green one, the dark green one, shows the long-term trend. The light green one shows the short-term trend. The yellow color shows an overlap on the short-term trend, and the blue one shows another overlap, but that's a hard overlap, and the red one shows a hard bearish trend. So based on this indicator, we can see that since the 6th or the 7th of January, we really see that the price made a huge drop, because then it starts to become blue instead of green, and then about the 14th we see a red color cloud, which means that we are now really in a downtrend. When I go back in time, I see that happened earlier in September, the 21st, 22nd of September. We saw that the trend was about to change, the long-term trend, but we saw enough buyers to hold the price, and finally we see that the green cloud starts to appear, and as you can see, it really went nicely to the upside. When I go back even more, this indicates another huge crash, and that was the 16th of March 2020. And of course, I think that most of you guys know what happened in that month, and that was when the corona crisis happened. Of course, in the stock market we see a huge drop to the downside, and then the 24th of March it picked up, and then it reversed, and we see that the price slowly went to, well, not quite slowly, quite fast, made its moves to the upside. And then from the 4th of May it was safe for investors to buy, because like I said, this dark green cloud shows when it's safe for long-term investors to invest, and this is for the short-term investors, right? When I go back even more, let me show you another example. Over here we see that the blue line starts to appear, and then the red one to 26th of September shows us that now we are in a downtrend, big downtrend. Then it picked up a little bit, and then we see the same move again, and then it didn't become green, right? It was red and then blue and then red again and then blue, and then finally over here we see that it is safe for investors to start investing again. Then we saw a little pullback. It was blue and green, but not really for a long time, and then it became green, and then as you can see it was safe for investors to buy, and then they made some nice returns. But let me show you the strategy that comes with this indicator. So over here what we need to do is we go to a period, to a time when there was a huge crash. So that was about here, the 26th of March. Yeah, like I said, the corona crisis. And from that moment, let me mark up when that happened, 16th of March 2020. And then let me go to the daily time frame. So we will drop down the time frame, and then we go back to that moment, which is about here. And why are we going to the 30-minute time frame? Because this time frame shows a nice opportunity for us to start investing in a market that crashed and is about to start recovering from that. So this is March the 16th, and I marked up a period which showed a dark red color on the daily time frame. So that was about here. And as you can see on the 30-minute time frame, we see that it is safe for long-term investors to start investing about here. And as you can see, we only see that the price made movements to the upside from that moment, right? So of course it's not 100% accurate, but yeah, this definitely can help if you are a long-term investor. Then yeah, you really can apply this strategy, because then we see a small drop, then again you can start investing a little bit about here, another drop, and then when it becomes green, let me show you, let me zoom in a little bit, then you can start buy some stocks about here, about here, about here. And as you can see, it went higher and higher. Then we saw a nice move to the downside. But if we zoom out and we look at the daily time frame, then this is basically nothing, right? And let me zoom out a little bit. We see that it keeps going to the upside. Now we are at 131. Now we are at 160, 180, and over here we see 200, and now we are in October the 21st. So the 30-minute time frame showed us a good opportunity to take advantage of big dips. Let me go back to the daily. So over here the indicator told us to buy, and as you can see, it was a really nice move to the upside. And then about here it was October, right, that I showed, and it even went higher and higher. But this is a good investing strategy that you can use for people that do not want to look at the markets every single day or every single week. This is a really great way to start investing into markets like the Nasdaq, but it also works on Bitcoin, S&P 500. But let me show you one other example. Over here we see that the market starts to dip around the 17th of December. Let me mark it up. Until, let me show you, this is the 1st of February. Then I drop down to a 30-minute time frame. So the red line on the daily, the red cloud starts about here, the 17th of December. So it was a huge drop, and then we drop down to a 30-minute time frame. Then we see that the long-term trend starts to become blue. Next up, we see that it starts to become green. And this is a nice moment to start investing into the market. As you can see, we saw a small movement to the downside. And then again, this shows another opportunity for us to buy. Then we see a small dip. When I zoom in a little bit, we see that it became blue after the dip and then green. So this is again a nice opportunity to invest in the market. And then from that moment, we see a nice move to the upside. After a while, we see that it drops, but it has no effect on our earlier investment because that is about here. So there was no drawdown whatsoever. And then of course it starts to become green, so we can buy again. After a few months, we see that the price climbed. It only went higher and higher and higher. So again, this showed us that the combination of the 30-minute and the daily time frame is kind of powerful. And of course, you can also use the hourly. If you are a little bit more conservative, you can also use that time frame instead of the daily time frame. Of course, you can just play around and test it yourself first. But I think that the 30-minute is a good time frame if you're looking at the long-term trend. Both the 30 minutes and the hourly. Let me show you if this works on Bitcoin as well. Alright, this is the chart of Bitcoin. Of course, over here you see that I marked up something. But let me show you over here. We see that this is the 22nd of March. We see a huge drop. It was really a bear market that we were in. And yeah, let me zoom in. Of course, mark it up. Alright, here we are. About the 20th, the 22nd of March. So over here, the 22nd, it was the day that the long-term trend turned red. We're waiting for the long-term trend on the 30-minute to turn green. That is on the 24th, and that is about here. So from this moment, you can start investing a little bit of your money. Right, you just, I don't know, 50 bucks or 100 bucks, whatever you can afford to lose. But this is the moment that you start investing, and not even before that, right? So not even here or here, because as I mentioned, we wait for the long-term trend to become green. So this is a nice moment to buy. Over here we can take a buy. It's blue and then it is green. About here, it's also a nice moment to buy. We see a drop, and then we can invest about here as well, and then we can invest here and here and here. Then we see a move to the downside, and then again you can start dollar cost averaging about here as well, about here. And then I think this might be one of the last drops to the downside. Big drop, and then when it starts to become green about here, we can take a buy trade about here, about here. So we're just taking buy positions, and we're just loading up for the big move to the upside, which happened around the 21st of July. We see a big move to the upside. Again, it needs to correct itself, and then a great impulse move to the upside, a nice correction, impulse move, correction, impulse move, and then after a few months we see that the price almost hit the $55,000, which was huge, of course. So this also works on Bitcoin. Let me show you the daily again. So this was about here, and we see that it really made a nice move to the upside. And so this is something that you can use, this indicator. Let me show you one more example. Over here, the 12th or the 13th of March, we saw that the long-term trend was red, which means, of course, that it was a huge dip, and we're looking for opportunities in the crypto market, in particular the Bitcoin. Let me mark this up as well. About here, this was the 12th. Let me go back to the 30-minute time frame. So as you can see, there was a big drop, and then we simply wait a few days for the long-term trend on the 30-minute time frame to switch to green. We finally saw a change, and we see that it is green. So this is a nice opportunity to take your first buy trade, to start investing into the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. Again, here we also see that it was green. We saw a nice move. Again, you can take a position about here, and at the time it was really cheap, $6,000. Can you imagine if you started investing about that time? But here we also see a nice opportunity to invest. So let me fast forward this. Now we see that the price was about 7200, and we see a nice dip, and then I think that was the last dip. From this moment about here, it was a great time to take a buy trade. And then finally I can zoom out to the daily time frame, and then we see that the price from about this moment, 6,000, 7,000, it made huge gains. So as you can see, really went to the upside. It really shot up, and of course now we're looking at 12,000, about 12,000, 10,000. So yeah, if you started investing about here, of course you made really nice gains, and that is with the help of this indicator, the OGT Gemma indicator. I'm going to wrap this video up. So if you're interested in this free indicator, check out the description, and you basically copy and paste the script. You go to Pine Editor, and then you paste it, and then make sure to save it, and then you can use it whenever you want. But this is a nice indicator that indicates when to buy the dip. So over here it's obvious to me that this is a dip. We see a huge red cloud, and which means downtrend. Of course, if you are a really conservative trader, then you can start buying about here as well, but then you missed all these great opportunities. And then if you want to stick to the daily time frame, it's okay. But you definitely missed these great opportunities about here, which is a pity, of course. So in my opinion, this is a nice indicator to use, and especially if we are in a bear market, we simply need to wait for the 30-minute time frame, the long-term trend on a 30-minute time frame, or the hourly if you prefer that, to change from the red color to the green color on the long-term trend. And then we can start investing. Of course, you do not have to invest all the money you have that you can afford to lose, but just invest, let's say, 20% of the money that you can afford. And then when we see a dip on the 30-minute, and when it starts to change again to a green color, then we start another 20, then we start investing another 20% of the money that we can afford to lose, and then again another 20%, another 20, and another 20. And then if you have done that about here, then you would definitely 100% guarantee made money, and even doubled your account. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also let me know down below in the comments if you would use this investing strategy, and if you have any problems, just let me know down below. For the people that have missed it, how to get this indicator, because I believe that it is not visible in the TradingView platform. Let me see the OGT. No, it's not visible. It's only visible if you use the instructions that I mentioned. Again, for the people that missed it, you go to the description of this video, you copy the script, you head over to TradingView, you go to Pine Editor, then you paste the script, and then I think you have to click on Add to Chart to save it. And then it basically is saved, and then it appears here in my scripts, and then you can use it whenever you want. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I see you in the next video.